Just like FYI, my plan is to not really edit this at all. So maybe just be aware of that for yourself. Like, I'm not really planning on editing this.
Okay, great.
Unless we absolutely have to. Welcome to Leah's living room.
It is my living room.
Daisy's here.
I'm looking to see what I texted you the other day.
So,
we got it.
We haven't seen each other for a hot second.
We haven't. It's been a minute. Yeah.
And Daisy's not feeling good.
She's always not feeling good.
Today is Monday, October 27th, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Does that feel correct to you?
True. True and accurate.
I feel like those sort of things sometimes are only true because we agree they're true. Like, we could probably sit here and convince each other it was a different date.
We could convince other people it was a different date. I'll tell you that much.
I'll
tell you that much.
Jason keeps reminding me not to start a cult.
Oh.
He's like,
it's hard.
Be careful.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Some of it's out of our control.
I agree.
Some of it is out of our control. If people hold us in high regard,
is it completely out of my hands?
Is it our fault?
What can I do
if they start to do the things that we enjoy?
Listen, let's not even go down that path. Let's not even go down that path. Hi, Daisy Doodle.
You know, I've had the same advice before.
Don't start a cult.
So that's what's hilarious.
That is so funny.
Like, what is that?
Part of, I think, what the visual watchers are going to experience is us getting used to this equipment.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Like, I'm awkwardly grabbing this claw thing because it's meant to sit on the table.
But we don't want to sit at a table.
I haven't figured it out. No, we can't. I can't sit at tables. We can sit there for a minute.
I'm going to do the Ricky Bobby thing. Drove really fast.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Everything turned out fine.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
So fun. So how did you spend your day today? What was your Monday like?
Working. I work a traditional 9 to 5, 8 to 5.
Yep. And you're in the office
Monday
now.
through Friday.
It's not really an at-home job.
It is not an at-home job. I am in the office, and yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I like being back in an office situation. It's good.
You're really good in an office.
We had Halloween.
Oh, fun! What did you guys do for Halloween?
So we did a little costume thing and a potluck.
What did you?
And
how did you
engage? Okay. So sorry.
Do you need to? You can totally answer.
No, I don't know who it is.
I put mine on airplane.
I do not need to. You put your phone on airplane.
Well, because we're recording. We're recording.
Oh, right.
We cannot be interrupted.
That's true.
No.
That's true. I just lost my train of thought. See, this is
Halloween.
What
did you do?
Okay, so I was planning to try to do some sort of.
You can't do the slutty thing at work.
No, and I'm not inclined. Like, I would rather be the Lorax than that. You know,
I'll be the zombie bride.
Right. Yeah. I don't. I mean, and I'm not so much creepy. Like, I'd rather be like the big silly bag of jelly beans, like I did one year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. So I was thinking, and I did this for, I mean, a month at least, where I wanted to try to pick some sort of corporate pun.
Oh, you're
and
so
embody
clever.
that. Well, here's the thing: I couldn't come up with anything except for circle back. And I did have a plan for circle back. I was going to take like a hula hoop and put it on my back and see who got it and whatever, you know. But then I was like, meh.
Yeah.
You know, it's not.
Doesn't hit.
It's not good enough. So then I was sitting and thinking the day before. The day before the party.
Okay.
And I was just kind of like scrolling through my ideas and what am I going to do? And I see this picture of a little kid Power Ranger. And I went, oh, Power Ranger. I can dress like a park ranger and put lights all over me.
Come on, Power Ranger.
So I immediately texted Dad and said, do you have anything like this in your closet? And sent him a picture of some, you know, random ranger person from the interwebs.
Come on, did he have anything?
And his hat's hanging right there. Within, you know, an hour or so, I had my outfit. They came over. They had to come in town anyway. They came over and met me here, and I stopped and grabbed a few things to try to like complete the ensemble.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was
Does
great.
the photo exist?
Yes, but they are at work, so I don't have them with me.
But at some point, I can attach it to like a blog.
That's right.
Yes,
yes.
So that people can see if they want to see. You do amazing with costumes.
I mean, I like to make them.
Yeah, I
I
feel
like
like
to make them, and I like them to look homemade. I'm not going
Right.
for perfection. That's the fun,
Right.
right? Like we're all doing this for fun, and I like it to be something that I'm not going to wear once and throw away, unless it is like fully disposable.
Yeah.
In which case I will do that.
Get
But
that.
like one year I was a piñata, and so I
That's asking for it.
I took a bunch of crepe paper and glued it to a like $5 sweatshirt.
Yes.
And so that was super fun. Another year I was Flo from the Progressive commercials.
Oh,
and
yeah, that was
my
a really
coworker
good
was
one.
Jake from State
I
Farm.
saw that. That was so good.
That was really cute.
Yeah. I was Gru one time.
Oh, yes. That was
really
good too.
one, right? And the team I was working with, they were going to be minions, but nobody minioned.
Nobody minions.
It was so sad. I was Gru.
That's
with
like
no
the worst
minions.
nightmare.
But people, like some people, never knew it was me. They were like, they just saw this weird person.
And they didn't ask.
They didn't ask. They didn't know. And some people were just like, how do you get it? How a Gru with no minions? Like, you don't really get it, right? You have to know, like, the scarf.
I would know.
You would know? Of course you would know.
I would know.
Of course you would know. Gosh.
But yeah,
I was watching Kristen Bell. Is that actress who's married to Dax Shepard? Kristen Bell. She's I was trying in my head to not attach her to her husband to identify her, but I just couldn't do it without saying it that way. But she is crazy for Halloween, and she does the most amazing mashup Halloween costumes. You've got to look it up.
That's awesome.
Like, you can even look it up right now if you want to.
No, I mean, where?
Amazing. Yeah. Just like mash up words. It's going to knock your socks off. And it's going to inspire you to go to a whole new level.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Yeah, it's like there's a bunch of like common things, you know, and I'm just like, no, I want something that feels like I thought of this.
And is that your favorite aspect of Halloween? Is like the creative,
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I do like candy, but yeah, that's.
I'm off it. I'm off the candy.
Sauce.
Yeah.
Off the sauce.
Doodle, can you not jump on the equipment, please?
She might need.
Do you,
you know, if she's not feeling well.
She need to go out.
You know.
Just tiptoe over the wires.
We just have to watch. Maybe some food.
Yeah, she might give us a signal if she wants to.
Yep, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Yeah, you can, if you'll pop those 3 legs open, I'll just stand it up on the thing. See, you get to see us learning how to use this stuff.
I don't think that's going to be interesting for anyone.
I agree with you. She said she doesn't think it's all that interesting. So we are sitting together to record because we are excited to sit together for one thing, but also because we want to collect our discussions and we think that we will enjoy spending our time together doing this. The last time we sat together, I came over here to sit with my sister because I was unrested and I needed some time with her, and we were talking a lot about rest that day. And it's led me to ask a bunch of people about rest ever since that visit. And it's an aspect that I want to start writing about. And one of the things that I'm asking people about is how can you tell when you've had enough rest? And how can you tell if you have not had enough rest? Or can you tell? A few of the people that I've talked to about it have been school teachers, or all different ages, not necessarily just little kids, but the 2 of the people that I talked to about it were school teachers of young age children, and they shared with me the indicators for these young children were that they would become irrational and that they couldn't listen anymore, and they got louder. And sometimes they would stop processing altogether. And I thought that was interesting because I think that we probably have the same kind of indicators as adults. Leah had said to me, there's nothing, she looked at me, she goes, there is nothing calm about you like that. Right? So she was feeding me my indicators about needing more rest, and that just led me to ask more people about it. How do you think, can you tell, Leah, when you've had enough rest?
I can tell when I haven't.
Tell me what your indicators are for when you have not had enough rest. How can you tell?
Sure. So I get a restless, busy brain, which is what I saw in you. That's
what does that mean? Like it just kind of everywhere?
Pings. Ping, 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 ping. it goes all over the place, and I can't, and it becomes frustrating
Yeah.
to me where I can't just settle my mind long enough to be like, what was the thing I wanted to do right now with
Yeah.
my time? Or what is this thing I'm trying to think about or concentrate on? Because if I'm not at work, my time is generally dedicated to something else for the next like 6 months ish.
Mm.
And so I'm always like, I have to be constructive with my time. So if I can't think of what it is I need to do, it can be really, really frustrating. And if I'm at home, that's when I have to take a nap.
Yeah, you
Need
can
a
just
nap or
tell you're
snack.
like spinning your wheels or whatever, and
Yeah, I mean, it just feels there's not much else I could describe it by except that it feels like restless, high energy.
yeah, yep.
It feels like really.
And you-
it feels bad.
You
It
could
does
spot
not
that
feel
in me
good.
a mile away.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like, well, and I'm your sister,
Right,
so that's
what
why
mean.
I can
Easy
spot
to
it.
see. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I wanted to visit with you, was because I was seeking rest.
Yeah.
And seeking, time. You want to come up, baby? Do
If you move
come
that
up?
backpack, she might just lay in that.
Oh,
there.
I can do that for you. She's like, there's so many wires on tape. Why is there so many wires? You want to come up?
And she's like, no, I'd rather jump up there. Never mind.
Lay down. Her sweatshirt says ride or die.
She's definitely my ride or die. She also maybe die because she's 11, but we'll see.
But you have a good long time. You want to lay down?
We'll see. She gets sick all the time, and so that's why she's just not feeling great right now.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the norm for her. It's like, I don't know, 1/3 of the time.
Sure. Sensitive tum-tum.
Yeah.
Who has a sensitive tummy?
A little sensitive. Mm-hmm.
So rest, and most of the people that I've talked about the same way that we would like talk to a little kid, like, you know what I mean, like those same kind of indicators, like they stop thinking, they stop processing, or their voice gets much louder, and they become irrational.
Voice gets louder. I think the irrational thing I can totally relate to because things will make me cry that
me too.
wouldn't normally make me cry.
I know I'm
louder
just, when
or I'll
I
get
am like
intensely frustrated or angry, and I am not an intense angry person. I don't go there. So that if that is happening, then I know that there's something else going on for me.
Gotcha.
So I'm just trying not to lose our other topic here.
Yeah, what is the other topic?
Okay, so the other topic
you texted me this the other day and I completely forgot.
Does admiration define our relationships and how we categorize our roles within them?
This is a deep one. Does admiration, let's split it into two. Does admiration categorize our relationships? The second part again was...
And how we define our relationships. Does admiration define our relationships and how we categorize our roles within them?
Fascinating. So let's talk about a relationship that we can like point at.
Yeah, well, what I was thinking about at the time was, I think I was watching like Love is Blind or
I'm so obsessed. Yeah,
show,
I can't stop watching Love is Blind.
And
Married at First Sight.
And I was just thinking about, there's an ingredient that you can't get when you haven't spent that long together, and that is admiration.
Ooh.
And then I started thinking about that was actually a quality that I needed in order to connect with someone on such a level that I felt like it was okay to feel committed to them. And I recognized that because of my last marriage.
Okay.
And felt like there was this level of admiration between the two of us for different reasons.
Yes.
And that meant that we held each other in a certain regard. But it also meant that, I was willing to be the wife, the mom, the whatever, right?
The role.
The caretaker, whatever. So that's kind of what got me thinking about it, was that I was thinking about my current relationship, and I was thinking how different that is than like, Love is Blind and whatever, right? And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what's the difference between something fast and something slow?
Yeah.
And that's what I landed on, was that I think it's the admiration. I think that as you get to know another person more intimately, you understand more about the way that they conduct themselves in the world. You start to see things that, you might be like, oh, that's kind of silly or that's whatever. But then you also might see them accomplish something that's
that you
really amazing.
Respect something that they do.
Yeah. And, that
way
starts
they
to
think.
kind of grow that well for you. And so I think that that's why longevity can be really meaningful for deepening relationships. So that's how my mind was kind of wandering. But then I was thinking a little bit about work too, and how that applies to different people that I've had as influences in my life that I would consider to be major influences, like pivotal in one way or another.
They're all people that you could use that word.
They're all people I would say that I admire.
Can I ask you to sort of define that word admire or admiration? Can we try to kind of define that? Like, so if I'm from another planet and I say, what does admiration mean? How can we start to explain that? So using what you were just talking about, I think we have a few characteristics.
Yeah, you start and then I'll...
Okay. It's something that you look up to in someone. Like, it's a thing that you see and you're like, that's an example. Right? Like, maybe it's something you see in them that you wish you did better.
Yeah. I covet that skill or that ability to do that, or the way that you just took that question and responded. Or
to the end of a good means, right? Like, it's not an obsessive kind of coveting. Like, it's not like I wish I was skinny like she's skinny.
No.
It's like I wish I was healthy enough to run a 5K to help raise money for that program.
Or just that in a lot of times when I'm thinking about admiration, it's something like, I wish my brain thought that way.
Oh, yeah.
Or I wish I had that level of experience to apply that to that moment. Or something like that's usually how I'm thinking about it.
That. That's interesting. I think this is going to make the question list, to talk about admiration. Because I think that respect, it falls in there somewhere, that word.
Sure.
And that the nature of the sustaining piece in a relationship is that respect and admiration.
Yeah.
I think that is the ingredient that gets you past when you don't like each other.
Well, I think that it also has the difference between defining a parental relationship and defining a mutual relationship.
Yeah. Interesting.
I think that that's kind of the line of definition that I was kind of thinking about, because I don't know that I've ever had or could ever have been in love with another person if I didn't admire them.
Oh.
And so I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, like, I'm not sure that I could do that, because otherwise I am just caretaking because they need.
Yeah, and that's not a relationship.
Right.
It's a role.
Yeah.
That you serve in connection with that other individual.
Right. Usually out of obligation.
Right. Yeah. There's some sort of an obligation tied to it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Which is not the same as making a sacrifice exactly. Like, that's a different level, like a voluntary sacrifice or required sacrifice, right? There's different kinds of
Sure.
That's so interesting. That helps me think about my own areas of weakness there, right? Because I tend to be I tend to show up feeling like I already know the answer. And I want to show up with a more curious space, like a willingness to be curious at the table, because that way I'll hear people better, and I'll miss what they're really trying to say to me if I'm expecting that I already know what they're going to say. So if I can, I don't know, spend more time thinking about the group or the person that I'm at the table with. And if I can approach that table with respect for the table, with respect for the discussion or the process, I might be more inclined to be more open and receptive and less, judgy and close-minded. Just thinking about my own personal. So I take these things about romantic relationships or parental relationships that are kind of easy to look at as binary roles and binary relationships, and think, how does this also apply at work? How does this also apply at school? Or in the grocery line, how does this apply anytime that I'm spending time with other humans? Anyways, that's what I was thinking about. Admiration and respect. So, do we define our relationships want to hear that sentence again.
Okay.
Does admiration define our relationships? I can't remember the wording. I like the wording.
I'm looking at all our pictures and our look at those blue suede shoes. Okay. Does admiration define our relationships and how we categorize our roles within them?
I think what we're reflecting to each other is that it certainly does.
It does for me, I know, and I'm just always curious about does the same thing happen for other people?
Yeah,
is this
desperate to know.
Is this a thing? Are we landing on a thing? Or
Yeah.
is it just like, this is just kind of a thought that I have? I don't know.
And if it does, like, what does that mean for us? If we saw a trend in people saying, like, what do we think might come from this discussion? You know what I mean? Where do we think the trend and answers would go? Do you think people will be like, oh, I haven't really thought about it that way? Or do you think people are more inclined to say, my husband? Right?
I don't know. I think that I don't know. I think that it depends on a few things. It depends on how deep of a thinker you are, right?
Sure.
So there's different people who make up the world, and not everyone spends their time,
of course,
thinking about things like this, or
right.
texting their sister to be like, I have
an
idea to talk about.
Yeah. I do remember the other thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I don't know. I think that I would have to pose it to other people. So that's part of the curious mind. Like I don't know. I can't presume to know what.
So
others
maybe
might
if
think.
anyone does actually listen to us jabbering on about this stuff, we would love
our
to hear
tens
it.
of fans.
Right, single numbers are ones of 3. Mom,
it's probably Mom and Dave and Amy Barrett.
Oh yeah, the Barretts will probably listen.
It's probably the 3 of them.
And my hairdresser Lenny Lou, who I love her so much, she'll probably listen.
Oh, see, that's good.
And Jenny Smalls.
See, and if you want to be shouted out, you should just tell us that you watch.
All you gotta do is tell us.
We won't even check to know if you did watch.
Because if people actually do watch, we would consider doing this live.
Sure. Yeah.
Because look how professional we
I
are.
will learn to tap dance.
Oh.
We shouldn't have said that.
You're
not
going
to
edit. I'm not editing this.
You're not editing this.
All I'm going to edit out is probably her bathroom break.
I didn't say well. I'm not going to.
No, that wasn't the point.
Learn to tap dance well.
I don't think anyone would ever assume that either of us. No, that's not true. They would assume that.
Okay, so I'm
we're
going to
good at everything we do.
We are not. In the eye of the beholder. I suppose if you're just looking in the mirror, if we get 1,000 people to watch, I will learn to tap dance.
Okay. All right. Let the manifesting begin.
What's your
thing? Can you see it in your mind eye? The little ticker going up?
Yeah.
The thing that I thought would
Hello, my baby.
I would love to talk to you about. What? The frog?
The frog. With the cane and
the lunchbox, right? Like he trudged, and the guy with the lunchbox, and you open his lunchbox, the little frog gets out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Sorry. Jason and I were watching a show, like a documentary type of show.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to use the wrong terminology. Because they're not shows anymore. They're on the internet, whatever. So we're watching this thing that I think was made by TMZ about OnlyFans.
Oh, I watched it too. You said that to me.
I wanted to talk about the cultural impact around it. Like, how do you feel about that? So what I think I remember, because now it's been a couple of months since I watched it, but so whatever I remember is probably what I took away from it, right? The show was sort of angled in a neutral way, but spun towards the creator, like sympathy of the OnlyFans creators. I thought, like, these poor people are victims of this culture / victims of us, the American culture, not allowing people to talk about sex or shaming sex or sex work, shaming pornography as a whole. And there was this theme of addiction and mental illness in there too, where the gratification that comes from showing your body to people and earning money and earning visual attention or whatever, lend to a destructive mental health.
Yeah, and there was like a raising of the stakes, right?
Yeah.
Because it became, higher stakes and higher stakes to do more that you might be less comfortable with, or that, when you first
Yep.
started, you might have said, I will never do
Right.
blah blah blah.
But you did.
But then you did, and then it became much easier to do that next thing and then knock more
Yeah.
walls down. I didn't believe that it was slighted towards the sympathetic. I thought that they represented that. And I thought that it was good that they did, because there's
Yeah.
I think that what I remember as a kid was always seeing things from the like don't
Censorship
this,
angle.
yeah, always.
Yeah.
And so I think that it was a much more what is perspective.
Yes.
Like, this is what it is. And I don't, what was your question again?
Like, how do you feel about this? What does it make you think about when we talk about the issue of whether or not OnlyFans is like a good or a bad thing, right? Those words, good or bad, right? They become muddy and it's hard to talk about. But I think everyone has a sense of what that means, acceptable or not acceptable, in the cultural normative standards of our society, which people choose to live by or choose not to live by. But sometimes the interviewees were saying or implying that they didn't have a choice after a certain point because now they can't rejoin society. And society told them, take your clothes off. This is what I want. Here, I'll give you money to tell you this is what I want. But now you can't do anything else because that was all I wanted from you. And now you're a piece of garbage because you did that for me, even though I told you to.
Yeah, I would challenge that. I think that there's a lot of, mental boundaries there that I think have effectively been torn down by other people before. And it was all relative at the time. So if you look at, who's Iron Man?
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. If you look back,
he's made a bunch of social comebacks.
He has really, absolutely, through addiction, through very public disgrace, right? And through all of that has, managed to kind of end on success, right?
I think so.
And so I think that there's a way that you see yourself that has everything to do with what you do next in every regard. So if you're thinking about it from that lens and you're feeling shame, right?
Yeah.
We know shame is that destructor of things,
right?
right?
All the things, yeah.
So
it's the limiting factor.
If you're that person in that position and you're feeling shame about this thing, that's probably the limiting factor from you being able to move to the next thing, whatever that is. And there's also this thing that we tend to do as human beings. This is, not at all science-based. This is just an observation. We tend to do the same thing we did before.
Yeah. We just have a tendency.
Right. So if I say I am a whatever, I'm a clown.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to try to continue to be a clown.
You are what
because that's what I see.
Right.
That's what I see of myself.
Right.
So if you were before someone who was maybe a podcast host or whatever, and then you go and do OnlyFans and now you believe that society pushed you in that direction and then you can't come back from it, probably what you can't come back to do easily is the thing you were doing before.
Right.
That doesn't mean that you can't move past that in a different way.
Well, and there might be a thing that is holding them back that's not so much about the ability to return to that, but the capacity to recover from the wound.
Yeah,
of believing the shame story is true.
Shame. Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Believing that's true. And I wonder if there's a path in our, maybe not, that's not the right, I wonder if it's worthwhile to talk to each other differently about sex to try to, I don't know, sustain a culture where sexual health is much more spontaneous. Sexual health is more organic to happen. If we're more, like, if OnlyFans wasn't so taboo, I think our culture would be healthier in a sexual health measure.
But there's always, so the way that I see it is that you could take OnlyFans and replace it with anything.
Sure.
There's always something.
Yes.
Right? So if it's not OnlyFans, it's this or it's that or whatever. If you look at the marijuana culture.
It's just people.
Right? From 20 years ago to now.
Right. These are
very
symptoms,
different.
symptoms.
So there's always some sort of public perception of a thing, an id,
Sure.
right? And that id is acceptable to this point, but not to that point.
Right.
And then 20 years later, it's acceptable
Still
to a
way
new
different,
point.
right?
The barometer just moves. And so I think that what is consistent is that you will always have these small microcultures who are developing their beliefs and their morals and their whatever, their values.
Yeah.
And they're always going to have some sort of oppositional view to something else.
Sure, there must be.
And so I think that it's just kind of an exchange. And it's just, that's how I see it. So I don't necessarily see that it's about sex, except that it is.
Gotcha.
So-
Yeah, that's a good way. I like the way you said that. Yeah. And it's not, sometimes I guess the discussion that I want to have is about sex specifically, but sometimes the discussion is more about what you're talking about, that it's, these are symptoms and not the actual thing.
Well, and it's not even so much that there's symptoms, it's just that there's always going to be something else.
Mhm.
It's a revolving door. So there's always going to be something that someone else will see and say, right?
Yeah.
And that thing is going to shift.
So what about when you're the thing, you have the thing, or you're doing the thing that makes people do that? So I'm interested in creating spaces socially where it's okay to find out you're wrong and
Mhm.
recover.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think we're very good at allowing people to
Mhm.
find out they're wrong and recover. Like if you carried a heavy political view in
Mhm.
one lane, okay, right or left,
Yeah.
pick one, okay, and then you decide that something that you believe to be true is not true,
Yeah.
and this other thing is true,
Yeah.
but your social circle is full of those same pegs that you had defined yourself as 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That space may or may not be hospitable
Sure.
to a change of mind.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in talking to people about how we facilitate those spaces where you can change your mind. Like, has someone ever come to you and said something they were so vulnerable, and you just could recognize it in that space? Like, wow, they must have really trusted me to share that with me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I think I'm not sure. I think I lost the thread in like what's your question? I don't know.
I think I just want to hear and talk about that. How do we host people to be in a vulnerable space? How do we I don't know.
I feel like you can hear me swallowing, so that's why
I don't hear you swallowing.
Okay.
Ew, ASMR. Okay. Maybe I don't have a well-defined question there.
Okay.
Well, clearly, I don't have a well-defined question there. As much as I just enjoy talking about that ickiness, that vulnerable, that painful space that people can be in, but it happens so unpredictably at times. So what if you're at work? What if you're in a business meeting and you see someone is triggered? It's not your responsibility to fix their trigger, of course, but if the opportunity comes for that person to recover themselves in that space, in that room, is the room hospitable to that?
Yeah, so I mean, I think this is, that concept is just kind of applicable in the same way over and over, meaning most people won't change their mind unless there's something that is close enough to them that proves something to them. And so that's generally when something like that happens, and that's why personal stories, human interest stories, are so,
Powerful.
convincing and powerful and moving.
Empathy.
Because you can
empathy.
see yourself
Ah,
in the other person, right?
Yeah.
So I think that empathy kind of leads to all roads. And so I think that that's what it takes, is for the people in that room, especially the leaders
So if-
in that room,
if
to
the leaders-
recognize the empathetic concept, in the room, and to either make space for it or not, or to decide how to make space
Yeah.
for it. So that might be like talking to that person after to say, I just want to check in with you.
sure.
I just want to check in
Right,
with you.
I noticed.
See how you're doing. How is that conversation for you?
Yeah.
And then just continuing to say, can you say more about that?
Sure.
And
Right.
just giving them space instead of inserting ourselves. And I think that we also need to be careful about making assumptions. You want to build the welcoming space, but to be truly curious and to truly accept other people is to remove that from yourself and to remove that from your knee-jerk reaction to assume that someone might be experiencing this or that.
So if you're in the room, you're in a conference meeting, it's a weekly meeting, the same 10 people that you sit with, and you observe someone experiencing a feeling and you assume that they're having X, Y, or Z experience because of you're looking at them and whatever you see, and we're projecting our own everything because that's the only thing we can do, right? She needs you. And but if I can watch that person having that experience, instead I'm thinking, I wonder what that's about, instead of thinking I know what that's about.
Right.
Okay.
And it's kind of walking yourself back to like, if there's times that you're forming an opinion about what someone else is experiencing, it can be a very simple thing of like, so this is how I learn how to function as an HR person,
Yeah.
right? It's strictly observation. Like, I'm observing that person's posture is elevated.
Right.
I'm observing that this is what's
That's
happening,
very
right?
HR
And so it's like,
brain.
I know,
Good
it
job.
is.
Good job.
But it's applicable in other ways,
But that
right?
helps
For that
me
reason,
understand. That
because it
helps me
removes,
think about that differently.
It removes your judgment.
Yeah.
And it pulls that piece so
And
that
the
it's
emotion.
more of the, this is literally what is happening in front of me.
Right.
This is literally the story that is being told. The inference is aside.
Yeah. That is so helpful at home too.
Yeah,
In
absolutely.
those kinds of conflicts.
Yeah, that's how you kind of
It's like
walk
the story
yourself
I'm
off
telling
the ledge.
myself is
Right.
but reality, what's happening is
Right, which you
yeah.
taught me to do. The
Right.
story I'm telling myself
And
is.
that's why I need my community to reflect that back to me, right?
Sure.
That helps me build my understanding of that.
Yeah. All right, I got to take care
Why
of
don't
this.
we just wrap? Or do you want to pause?
We can pause.
Let's pause.
Are you
I don't
done?
know how if you were feeling any kind of a pressure to pause. I guess that doesn't pause.
Yeah, okay. She's diarrhea every time she goes outside.
Poor baby.
All right, here. I don't want to make you wait. Go, girl. It must be painful. Poor baby.
I wanna kiss you all over and over and again. I wanna kiss you all over till the night closes in. Nah. Till the night closes in. Oh, jeez, a doodle.
How you doing?
Doodly girl. Do you feel a little better?
I think maybe you shouldn't be drinking water right now.
Oh, she probably should drink more water.
Oh, I mean, that's what she just, yeah.
Yeah, but she needs it.
Yeah.
Like, she needs extra water.
Poor thing.
Doodle, doodly doo.
I do need a little snack. So I'm going to have a pretend peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Coming up this? She's getting
running by herself and stuff. And she's jumping and stuff. Are you coming up? Come on.
Don't you want to come up here? No. Look, it's clear. See? Are you mad at me?
Come.
Yep. Good. She is scared of the wires.
Good girl. Lay down. Do you want to be here? Yeah. Yes, please.
Oh, goodness.
I'd like to be tucked in, please.
Are you eating? What is it?
It's a little peanut butter and jelly.
Oh,
Gluten-free.
gluten-free? Let me see. I want to look at the package. Bobo's PB&J. It's great.
I typically do not eat grape jelly, but these is not so bad.
Like
And they come in strawberry and grape, so
it's like an Uncrustable.
kind of.
Yeah.
It's oat though.
I bet it would be yummy in the air fryer, and then put it on some ice cream. Doesn't that sound good?
It does. I bet it would be.
Like you could chop it and put it on ice cream.
Or it would burn. I don't know.
You just get it toasty. Just put a little butter on it and just warm it up.
Fry it in the pan. I mean,
Now you're
why not?
talking. You would caramelize the base.
You know, the only way that I make garlic bread now is by taking a clove of garlic and sauteing it in butter.
Oh,
A lot of butter.
yeah.
And then putting bread into that.
Yes.
And then flipping it over
Yes.
and toasting the bread in the butter and the garlic.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. Yeah.
But I used to do it like Mom did. And just spread it on and put it in the oven and, you know. But no, now I'm full butter, full bore. Melt it right in there.
Do you want to hear how I eat leftover baked mac and cheese?
Mm-hmm.
You need a non-stick frying pan.
Mm-hmm.
Ceramic is nice.
I'm
And
not
you
a fan of ceramic.
take a big chunk of that cold mac and cheese and put it in the pan and chop it up so it fills up the pan. Put a cover on it and you put the heat on low. And you bring it up to temperature kind of slowly. And then once it's a little soft, you can kind of see it's like relaxed in the pan. You know what I mean? It's a little bit softer because it's been covered, so the steam is doing its job. You get in and just turn it up to medium high for like 3 minutes and get a crust on the bottom of that. Turn the heat off, flip it over, put the cover back on, heat off, and just leave it for a couple minutes and you're good. Stunning. Meatloaf, same. Butter, non-stick skillet, fry one side, get it real crispy. Pizza? You knew pizza like that too, frying pan? Get the bottom.
I might not flip it.
Can't even tell you. Can't even tell you. Delish.
I'm a stainless girly.
I haven't learned how to cook with stainless steel like a responsible grown-up. Don't you have
Do you
to,
want to
like...
know the secret?
Yes, please. So
Are we
much.
recording? Are we back?
We've been recording.
Okay.
I'll edit out the break.
The whole time. Got it.
It's easier than syncing up though.
Sure. So the secret is that you have to wait until the pan is the right temperature before you put something in it. And then you put in your oil, whatever you're using.
How do you know when the pan's the right temperature?
I would tell you. So if you take a drop of water and throw it into the pan, if the water beads up and then circles the pan and then dissolves, that's when it's ready. If it splashes and splatters and breaks apart, it's not ready.
Oh, it's not hot enough?
Right.
How do
The
you know
hotter
if it's
it gets,
too
the
hot?
more quickly the water will bead.
Okay.
So
What
you
if
know
it's too hot?
You know it's too hot because if you watch long enough, a little bit of smoke will come up.
Okay.
When you splash the water in. So I just take like I might have like a little measuring cup next to the stove with water in it. And I just put my hand in it and do that and look to see like what temperature it is.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try.
And the other trick is just starting
Like
to
eggs?
learn. Yeah. Yeah.
They don't
eggs.
stick?
No. The other trick is just starting to learn. I mean, you still need like the right spatula to use, and,
Okay.
you know, whatever, to be able to get
Get the
under
right
it.
tools.
But yeah,
Do the job.
if you're watching it, so the trick about eggs is that you warm the pan to a hot enough temperature, but then you lower that temperature quite a bit. Eggs do not take a lot to cook. Like if you think about it, eggs will cook on their side block, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like so, you need to turn that heat right down.
But it had to get heated up first.
Has to get heated up first.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I'm
then you want
scared
to
to
turn
try.
that heat down. You don't want to continue to cook it over such high heat.
Scared to try.
I mean, I say this as a person who is not a professional at all, but I'm okay. I'm okay in the kitchen.
You've been cooking a lot longer than I have.
I've been cooking a minute.
A lot longer than me. I was like a few years.
I still, you know, burn stuff and whatever, but
Whatever.
usually it's because I'm distracted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Yeah. So what were we talking about? Making spaces for people.
Yeah, we were talking about like recovering from a conflict at work, like and sort of applying those same kind of principles to different human conflicts wherever, you know. I mean, that's kind of always what I'm simmering about in my head is recovery from conflict. Because like you don't want to leave the job just because you had a fight in a conference room. You don't have to leave, like, I mean, unless you do, like a fight, you know, like probably can't stay at the job after that, but it's easier and it's cheaper for the company to deal with the problem and resolve it than it is to get a new person and start over.
Sure. Well, sometimes depends on what the history is there.
Yeah,
but,
and it depends on the nature of the conflict, I suppose, as well. But what I'm saying is in general terms, when there's personality breach, you know, it's this person said such and such about me and it's not true. Right? Like,
yeah, there's different, so there's different environments where those like wounds, you know, like the
tiny cuts.
It's, well, I mean, and it can be bigger, right? So it's not just the small, like, could have been an insignificant moment turned into a big moment. Like it could be a big moment. It could be, you know, humiliating, all of those things.
Yeah.
And I think that there's different leaders who value different things. So if your leadership style is to be more top down and more, you know, authoritative and authoritative.
Yeah.
I don't know. But you get what I'm saying. If you're more like the rules is the rules, this is black and white, this is how that goes,
no room for thinking.
You're much less likely to allow for that, to allow for recovery, to allow for
yeah. Because you're wrong.
And it's about the rule.
Yeah.
The rule that has been, you know, broken. Or
and not
whatever.
the people.
It's
or
not
the
about the
conflict
people
or the issues.
Right.
Just the rule.
Right. So if you're talking to that kind of person and that's how you understand them to be as a leader, then your conversation has to change.
Sure.
And then you have to start talking to them about the value of approaching that situation differently. But you need to talk to them in the way that they will appreciate.
Right. Meet them where they are.
Yeah. So it's not really so much about the people. It's about, you know, being able to better manage that room so that the room feels controlled for everyone in it.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
So, and then, you know, on the other side of things, if you're, you know, working with someone who is leading and they are much more human-centric, then it's an easier sell because every human has inherent value. And so a transgression does not, you know, remove that.
It doesn't devolve because there's already an inherent value established in the workforce. Yeah. And some teams are really good at that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you about that lots more, I think, moving forward. I just like to talk about those things that are hard to talk about at work. Like,
yeah, I think that it's tolerance is kind of what you're really leaning on there.
I think empathy is there. I think empathy is the key to inviting a sustainable environment where that value thing is inherent. I think the value part is where the missing ingredient in leadership to be able to cultivate that room.
Yeah, but not every leader will want that.
No,
right?
or,
So,
or
like,
it won't be their style.
right.
But sometimes there's a leader in the room. It's not that leader, right?
Yeah.
There's some other leader in the
Sure,
room.
influence.
Right.
You can be
Yeah.
influential without being a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
A designated leader without the role of leader.
love to talk about separating boss and leader. I love that topic. In fact, I'm getting ready to, in December, I have a leadership team that I'm going to be sitting down with to talk about that. We're going to be talking about roles and boundaries and the separation of boss and leadership, and how everyone is eligible to build their capacity for leadership. And empathy for the boss can be critical. Stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think being a boss really sucks a lot of the time.
Yeah, it can be very lonely.
Yeah, and it's it's about policy and compliance, but it's also about the optics and separation and leadership, and
it's about other people's experiences, the way that something might impact them,
So
the way that they will
much.
experience something. How is what you're going to say be understood? How is this decision that you're making going to cause this impact? What risk are you mitigating? Are you accepting the risk? What are you choosing in that moment?
pressure.
And what's the offset, right?
And I think that a team that has some empathy for their boss, whoever is at the highest point of the loneliest boss in the place, I think that some empathy for that boss can be really meaningful in the relationship development of the team, the integrity of the team.
Absolutely.
Understanding that. And sometimes we separate the boss from the team so much that it's hard for the team to have empathy for the boss and vice versa.
Yeah. Yep.
But I like to deconstruct those sort of ideas a little bit too, because I like to talk about rotation of roles and how to build an environment that's safe to rotate roles in a way that makes sense. And thinking about corporate America and top-down structure, it's kind of hard to think about that sometimes.
What do you mean by rotate roles? Like, what would that be like?
So if in a small, let's go, there was a story, I think it was in The Happiness Advantage, Sean Acor's book, Happiness Advantage. He talks about a hotel front desk and a hotel housekeeper. And the front desk job is to sell rooms, and the housekeeper's job is to clean the rooms, but to make tips, right? They're motivated to earn tips. And the front desk job is motivated. The more rooms they sell, the better money they earn. So the front desk person will let people check out late because they'll earn better because they'll sell more rooms. But now the housekeeper has less time to clean the rooms and less opportunity to get the tips. So they don't like each other because this one wants this and this one wants that. But if they change jobs for 2 weeks, twice a year, that relationship could maybe never be an issue. Maybe they would even work better for each other together, right? They would have a mutual respect and admiration potentially built through literally experiencing each other's job. It's kind of easy to imagine it in that way, right? It's a lateral position move, maybe, right? Front desk and housekeeper is maybe laterally positioned on the ladder of success, or the chain of command, or however you want to describe that, whatever terminology works for you. But when we think about that sort of structure, that top-down structure, it's hard to imagine how a housekeeper could rotate roles with someone in the finance department. So how do we look at what's the goal of rotating roles? How do we even consider how that could work in this framework? And what would be the benefit? And where I come from is experiencing the benefit of rotation takes the personality away from the work. So then it's not Emily's lunchtime meeting, it's the lunchtime meeting, right? Where it's not Emily's cult, right? It's not
all of our
right.
It belongs to us all.
You see what I mean, though, right?
Yeah.
Rotation of roles takes the personality away from the work itself, but also lends empathy to the other. So if I had to sit in your seat and I thought that your job was kind of cake, right? And now I have a little more respect and admiration for you because I was a fish out of water. And not only did I think your job was kind of easy, I also thought I would be able to do it very well and without any help. And now I have gained some humility, hopefully, and some respect and admiration for that position, but also for you. So there's a potential for building empathy, but also developing job skills in a way that will hold and have profound value and meaning to the whole company, to the success of the whole company, the individual's investment in their quality that they give to the company, because they feel more value, they feel more investment in the company itself now that they have sat in different chairs, right? They can see that my work over here matters because it affects this department over here in this way.
Yeah, so I think that that's the value of having someone who grows with a company, right? Which is something that is not the norm anymore. But if you look at
3 to 4 years, people, they recommend change jobs.
Sure, yeah. And if you look at, having different roles where you are, then you have a greater understanding of all the ways in which the company works, right? Because you know what that person's doing, you know how it works, you know how it stacks up, and
you can help too.
Sure.
Like, you can help with training, you can help in a pinch, you can help so-and-so called out and we're really in a jam.
Well, I will tell you though, it sounds expensive. Because,
it could be.
Because the cost of that is that you're always in training mode.
Right.
And that is expensive.
It sure is.
So if you're always in training mode with your incumbents, then you're losing the benefit of having incumbents. And so I would say that that's your fire to solve.
Yeah.
Is how do you make it smoother than that?
Or be able to measure the value in the product and show that this cost is worth this value.
Well, and it wouldn't be, that's the thing though, the cost is immediate and the benefit wouldn't be. So I'm not sure how you would do that, because you're losing 2 weeks of productivity in both positions at the same time.
Right.
And if you're doing that all across the board, then that's...
But if there's data that could show that is the difference between having whatever productivity at this amount times 30% increase over 2 years, if the data was there,
yeah, sure. I mean, if it were there,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it sounds expensive.
Yeah, of course it is, and it's expensive to have people think at work at all. We've trained thinking right out of the workforce.
I disagree.
Well, maybe it's easier to see in healthcare.
I'm not in healthcare.
Right. Maybe it's easier to see in healthcare. But there's, it's expensive to allow people to think. It's much cheaper to look for an empty box on the page and fill it.
I see. Yeah. So, and I think that comes from a heavy regulatory environment. Yes. Because you have so many boxes.
Yeah.
There's,
and if you don't hit the boxes, the people who hold the regulations don't pay, and then we can't be in business, right? That's just the way it works. And that's just the world we're in, right? They set the rules.
Yeah.
The rules are you have to hit these boxes. If you don't, you're not going to get paid. That's a very rudimentary, gross overgeneralization, but essentially, this is the measure. If you don't meet it, you're not going to get paid. So how can we make it impossible to miss the measure? Well, we automate as much as we can, right? And and you see it in your prior authorization cycle for a prescription.
Right. Your
doctor writes an order, and the order goes to the pharmacy. The pharmacy sends it to the insurance. The insurance says, I think you can do differently. We can do that for cheaper. We can do it for different. We can do it for better. I don't like it. They send it back. The doctor has to rewrite the order. But if you know what the insurance wants to see, then you can set up a template on the other side. And so now the order is written by template. So you click, it fills in, because that's the language that you are going to nail the measure with.
Yeah.
But now it's a standard written order. So now mistakes are being made because that order doesn't work for everyone. But now it's expensive to stop and think about that, because I've gotten rid of the humans that do that thinking. Those are boxes now. It's expensive to reach for excellence when our priority in the world is cheapest is best, because profit is best. So it's always going to be expensive to push out of that kind of...
Well, and I'm not even thinking of it in terms of profit. my careers are public and nonprofit service. So,
Yeah, but you
but
have
I
to
think
earn
about
money
it in
to stay
terms
open.
of, right, and you have to be able to keep chugging along, right? So there's
Yeah.
so much work to be done in only so much time, and the thing that I find frustrating from another aspect, or that I have found frustrating throughout my career, is when you have when you feel stalled in your role, like you can't get anything done because you can't get anything done.
Yeah.
So like you're feeling like, so I could see spending that time in another person's shoes as frustrating to me, because then that's 2 weeks that I can't get anything done.
Oh, yeah.
And while I'm learning the value of this other person's work, and surely I'll apply that in another way,
Now I'm
frustrated also,
behind.
right?
Yeah.
Because I can't get anything done.
Right.
And I would not expect myself to be like super good at that job because it's brand new, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would expect to be bumbling, which means I'm going to walk in with the expectation, which means it's probably going to be true. So then my self-esteem is,
yeah.
So when I walk back to my job that I was good at, I'm carrying the burden.
Yeah.
So I think that there's,
and in my fantasy of this idea of rotation of roles at work, it's a system where a team who's engaging in this practice believes in it, right? They can see the value in it, and they, anytime that you bring a new initiative, whether it's going to sail or fail, those hallway meetings where we say, oh, we should do this, and we all get excited for 5 minutes, and then we have one meeting about it, and then we start the initiative, and then nothing ever, there's no follow-ups, there's no other meetings about it, nothing ever, we all filled up the thing, and we went to the party, and then it was over, and then nothing ever came from it again. Approaching a team to make a change, there always has to be a buy-in, right? The only reason they even brought me in to talk about it was because they wanted a change in the first place.
Yeah, change management plan.
Right. And so this kind of a thing, even though it's kind of big and weird and hard to think about fitting into the corporate structures that we have now and that we function in, the regular workplace that we all function in right now. If we were going to try to implement it, we would be in a space where we're ready to talk about a change management plan, that kind of thing. We wouldn't, hopefully, be shoving someone into it, especially when they don't even have the tools to already manage their workload, right? If that would be the mark of a whole other problem, right? Instead of dealing with what's going on here, we're looking for, look over here. Here's a new thing we could look at, right? When in reality, we're already not managing our staff well. We're not right? So that discussion wouldn't be had with the lower level managers. This would be at an executive retreat where we're in a safe place to be vulnerable and stretch our brains out and try to imagine, how can we change leadership? How can we think about this differently?
Yeah, it's not that I don't believe it has value. I wonder, is there another way that you can get to the same end?
I bet there is.
And
that's one of the reasons I want to talk about it, right? I bet there is. But let's talk about it. How? Let's imagine. Or imagine develop a question or develop an objective, right? That helps us to sort of flesh out what that even could look like in different ways.
Yeah, well, I think that if we take that retreat idea and throw that around, that you can set the stage for a lot of little bites of things that could start to build that across people. Yeah. That wouldn't really have to do with exchanging roles, but it would have to do with exchanging stories. And so being able to tell each other a story and say, sitting back to back is what I'm visioning. Sitting back to back and saying, what was your goal is to say what your hardest thing was last week. And then I tell you my hardest thing was...
What if you don't know who's sitting behind you?
Exactly. Well, you would know the voice.
Well, yeah, but it's not... Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And so you exchange that information, and the other person has to listen and reflect it. Yeah. Right? And then you're taking that in, and then I think by the time you got to the end of that, there would be some takeaways for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100% agree with that.
Yeah, so if you did something like that every so often...
Right, that's my next question, right? How do you take that exercise and carry it forward to have meaning and reinforcement over time with your teams? And you could design programs around it.
Yeah, well, you have to ask them. You have to ask them, how do we take this forward?
Sometimes
what do you
it's
think?
meaningful, sometimes it's not. Sometimes having a smaller table to discuss those big questions is a more efficient use of time. If we're talking to the mass and we say, how would you like to see this? The conversation can be useful, but the outcome and the data that you get back is often scattered.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I'm envisioning it if you're in that same setting. So,
The back-to-back,
the wrap up
Yeah.
from that, whatever, is how do we take this back? How would you want to take this back? What would you want to do with this?
When should we revisit it?
Yeah, and it might just be a small group that you end up getting the information back from. But I will say that anytime you do change that you're not looking for the opposition, it will fall. And so you have to find the opposition.
Yeah.
So you owe it to yourself to ask the questions in every capacity that you can, so that you can figure out what the edge is, where is it?
Yeah. I get excited about rooms and teams that already have planned a devil's advocate. Some teams bring that already to the table. Like, somebody is assigned that role at each meeting. Like, you're going to be the one who argues, so it's your job. So then nobody is like, oh, they're such a negative Nancy, right? That's their actual role in the discussion, is to try to think of the negatives and bring it to the table. Well, what are we going to do if this happens? What are we going to do if this happens? Well, that sounds good, but did you think of this? Right? And have that one voice in the room who's kind of bringing that to the table to try to help find those edges. And it often will enable and facilitate that discussion without conflict.
Yeah, and I just think that if you're looking at applying something that will impact another person, you want their voice involved as much as you can.
For sure.
Because they might have a different opinion than the person who had the role.
Or certainly.
Yeah.
Right? Certainly they will. Yeah. And that's why I like doing this work and talking to people. Like, my 3 questions, right, is because I'm expecting everyone to have a different answer. And I'm excited about it. I want to hear about it. And it helps to reinforce me working against that, how I show up judged already, right? I show up having made a judgment instead of showing up curious. So practicing that helps me to remind myself and reinforce the value of getting curious.
Getting curious sounds like a topic for one of your books with like a title.
It could be. Maybe it's a whole chapter. I don't know. I'm writing about the 3 questions. I'm collecting discussions for that, and I'd like to get like 200 discussions recorded for that, and I have like 9. So I have a ways to go.
Why do you want 200?
I think I want data trends. Like, it's research. It feels like research to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see those trends. So I'd like to try to get people who live outside of Maine, a handful more people that live outside of Maine too, and look for trends that are different in those kinds of answers. I just think it's interesting. So I think I'll have if n equals 200, that's a nice kind of data set. That's, if I'm honest, that's really just kind of arbitrarily, my mind likes that.
Sure.
N equals 200.
So one way that you could chip away at that is if you go to some conferences and set yourself up as a booth.
Well, now I have recording equipment.
And there's your, your pull-in to talk to people is to ask them the questions.
So this thing right here, the microphone piece goes right on the end, and that's the whole unit. So I'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
And interview people on the spot. That was the whole reason of getting this set up. Yeah. So I'm excited about that.
You could really knock that down.
Yeah, that's my plan, right? So that I'm prepared. Like, I was like, if I don't have the stuff, right? Like, if I want to paint a room,
right,
I have to buy the paint.
You need the paint,
right? Like,
and if you're like me, you have to buy the paint over and over again because you take your brushes and you probably throw them away.
Yeah,
or you put them into a tote that's just really inconvenient, and then they stick together, or they do something else.
Yeah.
Why do paintbrushes never come clean? And how do they dry at that line? How does that happen?
I'm not an expert. I want to give you.
I don't understand.
We'll have to bring somebody on that can.
A painter.
Or some other person who's equally talented.
Do you know what I heard today? And I was really excited about it. I was listening to the Jack Shepard podcast.
I love that. Armchair Expert?
Yeah,
I can't get enough of that.
I started back when I'm an OJ. Like, I started listening to it back when he first started. It was something that we just loved listening to. So
Michael
we listened
Rappaport
to it
too.
all the
I'm
time.
crazy for him. Anyways, go ahead.
Anyway, so he was interviewing Reese Witherspoon,
Yeah.
and she said she does paint by numbers, and I was like, me too.
Yeah,
We're the same.
She's so smart too. You guys probably are exactly the same. She's really
I
smart
just
and funny.
thought that it was cool to hear her say that she did that, because I was like, I love paint by numbers.
That empathy. So, but what is it? That thing. What is it that we love about that?
It's
thing?
seeing yourself in someone else.
Yeah.
That's,
It's feeling
that's really what it is.
connection.
It's because we're self-centered creatures.
Yes.
We see
I'm okay
ourselves
with that.
and it's a flag up and we're like, woohoo!
And it feels good.
Yeah.
You're like,
That's
I'm
where-
like that. That's
where
like me.
politics comes from.
Yeah.
I'm on the team.
Right. It's magical. That
Yeah,
feeling of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
we're in this together.
I've been accepted.
Mm.
And it sucks when you're on the other side, right? Like,
Mm.
I was the last to get picked and I don't belong on any of these teams.
We should see if Dax will come sit and talk with us.
Oh, maybe.
You never know. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah,
You never know.
sure.
I'm thankful for your time.
Yeah.
Sitting with me.
Happy to give it.
Good.
Happy
I
to give it.
Don't mean to cut off. It just feels like a natural kind of stopping point.
Sure, I'm a little hungry anyway.
Are you?
Yeah,
What are you going to eat?
I'm gonna eat some leftovers.
What are they? Leftover
Barbecue
what?
chicken
Oh.
and mashed potatoes.
I have, well, we'll see what's left when I get back to the house, but I bought a rotisserie chicken and a bunch of spinach and a bunch of veg that I wanted to eat.
Nice.
Carrots and bell peppers and bean sprouts and
Dude, I massaged
Cucumbers.
kale the other day to make a salad.
how did it turn out?
I've not done that
Kale and
in
I are
years.
not. We're not.
That's the secret.
friends.
The massage. You have to massage the kale.
And then it's not so bitter?
Exactly. It's amazing. It's like
What
magic.
happens? What's happening inside the kale? I gotta know.
I don't know. You got to look it up. I don't know.
Okay,
But so
next
kale
time we
loves
talk.
kale loves a good rub down.
Do you know
It
I know
also
a man
loves
named Kale.
no.
He's gonna love this. I'm gonna send
It
this to him.
it also loves salt, a good flaky salt.
Kale loves a rub down.
and it
Kale loves
also
flaky salt,
loves nutmeg.
and Kale loves nutmeg. I'm gonna fact check that
Yeah.
with my friend Kale.
Yeah.
Dr. Mike Sell, actually.
Do it.
He would totally do the 3 questions with me, I bet.
There you go.
I bet I could get him
Got
to
your
do
next
that.
idea.
Yeah, so now I get to find out about what's happening in kale when you massage it, because it's electrons and stuff probably moving.
It's so much better.
I can't wait to find
So
out.
much better.
I don't believe that, but
I'm telling
I'm
you.
willing to suspend my doubt because of our relationship.
And like I learned it the same way. Just like I don't believe it. There's no
Right.
way. And then I
Fat
did it.
chance.
And I was like,
Because like I made
Okay.
kale chips one time in
Yep.
the oven, and I was so sad.
you were
I
sad.
was sad. They were not
Oh, you know,
good. Do you massage them before you make chips?
I would. Yeah, I would.
Okay, I'll give it
It's a part of
chance.
the washing process.
Do you know what I do like about kale? It's so curly.
It's curly and it
fluffy.
holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a lovely texture.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy eating it,
Uh huh.
but
Yeah.
I just don't.
Have to keep trying.
Me and spinach though,
I do love spinach.
all day,
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
I kind of sneak it into everything now. You
Yeah.
sort of taught me that back when I was doing smoothies
Yeah.
way back. You're like
Like to
just
put it in the
sneak
kids' everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of eat it all the time now. I love it.
Yeah. You know what you can't sneak in? Beets.
Beets don't
Beets.
sneak anywhere.
No.
Have you ever had red
Tastes
flannel
like dirt.
hash? Red flannel
Dirt.
hash? I want you to look up red flannel hash.
Red flannel hash.
And I want you to think
Does that have corned beef in it? Ugh.
ham. You put ham in it.
I don't understand.
It's a very main dish. Red
Okay.
flannel hash.
Yeah.
You can't sneak beets in anywhere.
No, absolutely not. I was thinking back to the smoothie days, and I tried that once, and I was like, I still hate beets.
Yeah, you can't
Absolutely
sneak
not.
beets into a smoothie.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
You have to like beets to eat beets.
Right, and I don't. I just don't.
Beetroot. It's fun to say.
It is.
Beetroot.
Beetroot.
Listen, I'd be delighted.
I'd be delighted. Yeah, we forgot all about them.
Well, we can talk about it next time.
I don't know. Maybe it's
Do you know what?
maybe it's not a thing.
I'd be delighted.
And you know what I do love though
I think it is a thing.
Emileah.
Oh, Emileah is happening.
That is definite. That's solid.
Unless you
That is
like
solid.
Lemily. Because I kind of like Lemily a lot.
Lemily.
Lemily. Lemily. I kind of like Lemily.
I think Emileah is good.
Emileah, it is.
Lemily's harder to say.
Maybe Lemily's on the back of the t-shirt.
Okay.
Emileah.
It's just a joke that only we will understand.
No one's going to watch this but us.
I know.
It's
Nobody's
fine.
going to watch. High five.
No one's going to watch.
Nobody's watching us.
I had fun with you anyways.
I did too. I love you. Bye, Sissy.
Bye, Sissy.